Welcome back to the Storyrant podcast. I'm your host, Eric Malachite, and today I've got Eric Hackler, my good friend and filmmaker. We're going to be ripping John Campea a new one, apparently, because he's said some things with a couple of his co-hosts talking about AI in the movie business, how Netflix basically used a AI special effects job or something to simulate a building collapse or what have you. And we've got thoughts, and we're going to let you know those thoughts. So yeah, let's go ahead. And Eric, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, I'm Eric Hackler. I'm a filmmaker. I'm the CEO and founder of Checker Liar Pictures. And yeah, let's talk some AI stuff.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and have the video editing team splice in the main chunk of this guy's argument where he's basically talking about, you've seen the video.
I have.
In olden times, like my parents' teenagers' days, you wanted to make a call. Well, you connected to the operator. You told the operator who you needed to be connected to, and the operator, remember, see all those old movies where you got like dozens and dozens of operators, connecting your calls. Well, modern technology came around and those operators are all out of work. Rob, when's the last time you dialed 0 to talk to the operator?
A long time ago, John.
I can't remember. I literally have a neighbor up the street who I went out and I saw that he was using one of those EcoFlow lawnmower machines where it's kind of like a Roomba, but it's for your lawn. You just put it on your lawn and it figures out the exact dimensions of your lawn and it will automatically, once or twice a week, go out and mow your lawn. Well, that guy used to use a lawn care guy. He used to have a lawn care guy come by once a week. Now that lawn care guy doesn't have at least this contract. So this is an example of technology took it over. Do we as a public have a problem with my neighbor using an automated lawn mowing machine that took the job of somebody else? And Rob, if we say no, we don't have a problem with it. If we say that, then why is it okay for us to take advantage of technology that allows us to cut out paying services that we might have paid other people to do, but the technology helps us now and we use it? Why is it okay then for us to do that, but then we get very, righteous and whatever when somebody else is doing it, in this case, the studios? I mean, hell, Rob, there was an argument made when CG animation and visual effects were coming around that certain things were taking the jobs, certain visual effects were taking the jobs of stuntmen. Certain visual effects were taking away the jobs of set construction people who used to build things specifically for visual effects. And now those are gone.
The problem, John, is that the dialing system and automated lawnmower weren't built off the backs of millions of artists who are never going to be paid for their contributions. Like, am I the only one freaking out about this take? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, like having claiming AI is the equivalent of just automating art. First of all, is a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes art, and second of all is like feels like a dog whistle to just try and get us to accept the unethical practices that have led to this type of AI, and it's like use in film and TV right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would suggest, whether you like him or not, everybody should go watch the press conference that Elon Musk did about Grok 4, their brand new generative AI that they just released, which is astonishing, but everything that it can do. And we now live in an entirely different world. And Netflix using generative AI to make a couple of effect shots of a building blowing up or crashing down. The ship sailed. The new world is here, and we're going to have to get used to it. We're going to have to get, as much as I want people to not be out of work, the fact is this technology is here and it's not going anywhere.
Like, we just had those writer strikes. We had massive strikes in Hollywood for this very reason. Where studios were trying to, slip in language that allowed them to use AI or to use the likeness of actors with AI and what have you. It's absolutely disgusting. And like them talking about how the genie has been let out of the bottle, so to speak, and we just have to get used to it. That's not exactly true. I think that is a common narrative, but like
a narrative being pushed by people who want us to accept AI because they have some vested interest in it.
Exactly. Like these,
which makes me sound more conspiratorial than I actually am about this, but it is certainly there is a hype cycle that exists where some company or some group of investors come out with the new hot thing, whether it's robot cars or crypto or AI now, where they all say, this is the new thing, forget everything else, this is what we're doing. And then there's an ecosystem of people, of YouTubers and video essayists and TikTokers and influencers who jump on it as, well, we need to make content, so this is the thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And that kind of coalesces into this gross narrative of, well, it's the future, everyone's talking about it, we have to accept it. And that's, one, disingenuous, and two, just not true.
Yeah, it's not. And something I'm really sick of is people calling these algorithms tools, because they're not tools. Yeah. They're plagiarism machines. While the lawnmower bot and the dial switching systems are replacements for workers too, that is true, they weren't built off the backs of people's actual intellectual property and decades upon decades of training. As an artist, there is so much that I have to do to keep my skills fresh. Like, I just had to retrain to start working on a comic book because I hadn't drawn in a few months and I was starting to get rusty. Years of life drawing and anatomy study to be able to do pretty much anything. The same goes for writing, too, and pretty much every skill. I'm sure you have tons of stuff you could talk about. All the training that goes into being a cameraman, a director, all of that stuff. Yeah. AI can never replace an artist because these things require a human point of view for them to even begin to be interesting. Like,
yes, all of what AI is creating is it's not, and there's an argument that like all art is just various influences filtered through the mind of an artist, and so why can't we just switch out that artist with a computer? And the answer to that requires a fundamental misunderstanding of how art works. And let's say if we're gonna for a second indulge the bullshit argument of the robot lawnmower is the same as replacing artists with AI, even with something as simple as a robot lawnmower that's job is to has some kind of sensor on it that determines how to, when the grass is tall, and come out and cut it until all of the grass is not tall, there's still room for error. That's like, that simple algorithm is still going to make mistakes. It's still going to be tricked. It's still going to require a human presence. Now take that and imagine the nearly infinite number of choices that go into creating a story or a film or a painting or any of that, and hand the controls of all of those choices over to a machine that doesn't understand what any of them mean and is basically just crowdsourcing them off of the internet. We're surrounded by stories of, we created an AI, we put it on Twitter, or in this case, like Elon has Grok that he released as his on Twitter AI that then within, a few days was calling itself Mecha Hitler.
Yeah, he removed the settings. He made it less woke, and then it instantly became Mecha Hitler. I will only refer to it as Mecha Hitler from now on.
Now we have a whole community of influencers who are going, well, AI is here, doesn't matter what form it's in, like, let Mecha Hitler write and direct all of your movies. And that's just, it doesn't understand, like, it and the people pushing it don't understand what it takes to make art, don't understand the very simple process of finding something that touches your soul and then creating something that shares that feeling with everyone else. It's such a simple thing, but it is something that's so uniquely human, and crowdsourcing it off of the internet is not a solution. Just because it's easier doesn't mean it's right.
And doesn't mean it's better either. There is going to be people in the comments saying, yeah, but people really like these AI slop videos and whatnot, but do you really want to pay to go to the movie theater or pay your Netflix subscription to watch something that was generated by AI. Like,
and also like people like these AI slop videos in the same way that they like videos of kittens falling into bathtubs.
Yeah.
Like, it's entertaining. It will definitely, hold your attention for a little bit, which is the main product that social media like is selling to advertisers. But it's not going to touch your soul in the same way that something with a real human touch does. That's just, we don't connect with it that same way. And sure, it's enjoyable, but it's spam.
Yeah, it's spam. And
Yep.
not just that, but like the environmental impact, considering we're still heavily dependent
boy.
on fossil fuels, will be absolutely devastating. Like, you talk about a dystopian society, like bringing to life the idea that these AIs make all these beautiful pictures. Meanwhile, people are going to be living with these massive fucking data centers like 400 feet from their homes, like this one lady living in Georgia. Her water pressure went to crap because both the data center and her are on the municipal water supply. And like, there was black sludge coming out of her pipes, I think. Like, it's bad. She's got like this bright ass light coming through her house at all hours of the night. Like this sickening electromagnetic hum. Like, who wants that? Like, why are we doing this? Like, these things aren't profitable either. Like, OpenAI is not profitable. Like, none of this shit's profitable.
No, because this is being run by people whose entire understanding of success and business is buy a company or get investment in a company and just run it functionally, whether you're making a profit or not, long enough until the VC funding dries up or until you can sell it to somebody else. And that's their understanding of business. Their whole, like, their ecosystem, the way they make money is by founding something or buying something and selling it off for parts.
Yeah.
And like, those are the people you want in charge of art. Those are the people, like, that kind of cynical "fuck you got mine" attitude is what is those are the people we're being told to no, they've created AI, you just have to accept it.
Yeah,
that doesn't sit well with me.
It makes no sense. Like, sure, yeah, our artwork's already been used to train these things, these models, but those models, they have a storage capacity. These data centers, they have a shelf life. And
that's the thing, is we're indulging this argument about AI as a alleged tool for Netflix to use. The thing that kind of in my head disqualifies makes that conversation kind of invalid is the fact that is the environmental impact that these data centers have on the world. We're not only being told we have to hand control of art and culture over to AI, but we're also handing the environment over. Like,
right.
Think about this. Every time you do a ChatGPT search, it is the amount of power and water that it takes to run that data center and cool those servers is basically the equivalent of pouring out 2 full bottles of water.
Yeah.
Google had their video AI, or their AI video creator. They made a video of a shaggy dog eating pasta recently, like entirely with AI to show, oh, look, all this detail our AI can do. What they're not advertising is the fact that it took the amount of power that the entire country of Haiti uses in a day to make that.
Yeah.
Like, that on its face should be disqualifying from ever using AI in its current form, because it's causing such damage to the environment. For the sake of what? People were too lazy to get a dog and give it pasta? Like, that's not a thing that's hard to create.
It's not.
Like,
oh,
yeah.
Man. And it's really interesting you're talking about this too, because I just recorded a video for Geographics about the Gulf Stream. So one of the sections was talking about how there are climatologists that are saying that the Gulf Stream may shut down this year to 2050, or it could be speeding up because the oceans are warming. And, either way, that's bad because pretty much all of Europe, all of the more northern hemisphere countries are dependent climate-wise on the Gulf Stream. If the Gulf Stream shuts down, there is so many areas that are going to freeze over during the coldest parts of winter. Like, it's going to be bad, basically.
Yeah. And we have a very, I think as Americans at least, have a very kind of mid understanding of how all of this affects us. I was just out in Colorado at the Black Canyon of the Gunnison, and the park rangers there were talking about how, so the Gunnison River is a major fork or major feed to the Colorado River, and that ends up the water that runs down into Arizona and lower into from the Colorado is the major water source for most of the farming that goes on there. And so we think, this doesn't affect us because we live elsewhere, but when there's an environmental impact that reduces people's ability to farm, our ability to grow food, our ability to grow crops and to distribute them, it's a small thing, but it has wide-ranging impacts. And to something as big as shutting down or drastically altering the Gulf Stream is going to have a much broader impact.
Oh yeah,
and we are sitting here saying, no, we have to, we can't stop these companies from running their massive data centers so that Netflix doesn't have to pay artists when they want to create a visual effect.
Yeah, that's such fucking
insane. Bullshit. Yeah.
That's such backwards ass thinking.
It is. And again, setting aside the environmental impact, if an indie filmmaker like you or me or someone without the resources to destroy a building or to hire a visual effects artist to destroy a building, if they were using AI, assuming it was ethical, assuming it wasn't a plagiarism machine stealing from artists and it wasn't trying to actively destroy the environment, then we can have a discussion about, this is allowing you to do something you couldn't previously do.
Sure.
Netflix can afford this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Netflix can.
Netflix CEO is out there talking about how much money they saved, and it was 10 times cheaper and 10 times faster. And first of all, that's a lie. Second of all, that money, Netflix isn't using those savings to lower your subscription costs. They're taking those savings and they are handing them to their shareholders because, their shareholders demand infinite money.
Yeah.
But it's Netflix. You mentioned the writers and the actors strike from last year, and those are definitely both relevant to this. But the strike that caught my attention, that made me think that I thought was most connected to this, was the IATSE one from a few years ago, because when Netflix first started, they made a deal with IATSE, with the film crew union, to say, hey, we're trying to get this streaming thing off the ground. We don't know if it's going to work. Can we work out a deal so that we pay less for this? And IATSE said, yes, you're starting out. We can have some rules that are kind of bent specifically for streaming. And then when the contract came up for renewal IATSE was like, cool, Netflix, you are now the biggest studio in the world. You have Oscar nominations. You have this experiment of yours has worked. We need you to go back. We need to start going back to what's the regular expenses and prices and expectations for the film industry. Netflix threw a fit and said, but this is how we've always done it.
Yeah,
which
of course.
Pretending that they weren't given special treatment at the beginning. And to some degree, I think Netflix's leadership had switched. So those guys, it had never happened to. But and that's what a lot of the IATSE strike was about. And this feels like that, with Netflix just trying to weasel out of paying artists and trying to pretend that, well, this is just how we've always done it. This is just how it works. and it's not. It's the way they want it to work, because then they make more money and they can go back to their boardrooms and start brainstorming the next corner they're going to cut when the quarter 3 rolls around and they need to give more money to shareholders. But it's such a disingenuous argument from Netflix, and it's so insane to hear that nonsense argument that is so self-serving for Netflix being parroted by YouTubers and people who shouldn't have skin in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, they're probably like, I don't know what John Campea is like. I don't know if he's getting like a back end cut or something on this. I don't think so. I think he's just doing, oh, this is an interesting news story, let's do that.
Right? Yeah, he's got to generate content. He's got to tell stories. Yeah.
I like John. I followed him throughout this whole, like, I followed him off and on here and there, but I followed him for the whole Superman thing, and him disagreeing with the Snyder Bot BS that was going on at the time, them like review bombing and stuff. But this is a fucking garbage take, man.
So on the one hand, I feel like anything that takes away jobs from the movie industry is bad. But on the other hand, I feel like we all do it, and it's just part of the advancement of technology. So I'm not quite sure exactly how I feel about it, Rob.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this is like, you're better than this.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Like, I know that he knows how much it takes to make a feature film, and this is ridiculous.
I just saw a thing, one of Movie Bob's videos where he talked about the box office for Sinners, and how the studios and the mainstream entertainment media was kind of downplaying Sinners' success, not because Sinners wasn't a massive success, but because Warner Brothers didn't expect Sinners to be the hit that it was, and so they gave Ryan Coogler a really good like back end deal for him getting the rights back, and they don't want other filmmakers thinking, oh, I should have that same deal. That they're trying to be like, well, Sinners wasn't that big of a hit, so that, you know, so other filmmakers don't get the idea to ask for similar things.
We haven't covered Sinners on the channel yet, but we definitely need to at some point, because oh my god,
it's right up your alley.
Fucking fantastic.
Yes, yeah, and so like the industry, whether it's the major studios or the like news sources, and I don't want to sound conspiratorial, but the news sources, yes, they have a vested interest in keeping the studios happy to some degree or another.
Well, I'll pause you for a second, because like, look, the news, all of the major news stations are all owned by billionaires with their hands in all sorts of stuff. So all you're gonna get is right-wing BS slop. And you're going to get pro-AI BS as well.
What are you? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
You know?
Yeah, because whether or not they're all involved, they're like, whether or not they're all like working for the same company, they're all in the same country club.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this industry has a vested interest in taking away and kind of to some degree keeping artists and filmmakers on a leash. They don't want filmmakers. They want filmmakers to forget that without filmmakers, the industry doesn't exist. And AI is their attempt to get around that. And I worked in Hollywood for several months, and the mindset that goes on there that I had more than one person explicitly say to me is they want you to believe that everyone's expendable. They want you to believe that they could replace you like that. And it is not true, but AI is part of that, of trying to make people feel expendable. So, we don't need an artist. We can just, throw it into an AI, and there we go. And
then you'll get their legs switching position. You'll get about 1,000 thumbs and fingers.
Exactly. Yep. And so it's when I feel like whenever like this is a thing that I like as a good like ethical metric in general, but if you find yourself making an argument that takes away power from somebody near the bottom of the food chain, in this case the independent filmmakers and the artists who create the movies, you're probably making a garbage argument. And that's like, John, that's I don't think that's where you wanted to end up, but that's kind of where you landed with this video.
Yeah, that's it's not great. And frankly, like, look, I agree with the sentiment that, we should be making it easier to do your laundry, to keep your house clean, to make cleaning your bathroom easier, mowing your lawn. Sure. Make it easier to do those menial tasks that keep you away from doing art. But why are we automating art? I love making comics. I love making videos. I love making audiobooks and writing books. Why the would I want a computer to do that? And you know what? Why would you, the audience, want to consume something made by a computer? Because I'll tell you, I've read some of that stuff, and it's garbage.
Yeah, it is.
And it sucks.
It does. And the argument you're going to hear, the counter argument you're going to hear on that is, well, it's getting better. Eventually, once we've stolen from enough artists, it will create something that's less distinguishable from something an artist creates.
Meh.
And yeah, no, that's debate. But also, and I remember seeing, I think John Oliver had a clip of one of these AI guys talking about how, you like having music, but like nobody actually likes practicing instruments and like playing music and writing it. Like no one enjoys that process. We're making it easy just to create the finished product.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. It's such a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes art great.
What do you think musicians love to do? Like,
right,
man, I'm really proud of this album I made, but man, I really hated all the hours I had to practice. Like, no fucking guitarist or bassist or drummer or any other type of musician you can think of is going to say that unless they're lazy.
No,
in which case,
because this is coming from people who've never felt that moment of, coming up with like working on a story and coming up with a character and a plot beat that just clicks and feels like, oh my god, this is the thing I imagined it could be, or like, working on a song and finding that like that hook or that melody that's just like, oh my god, this makes my soul cry the way I've only dreamed I could. Like those are the moments that make us want to create art. And I remember I think it was like Ethan Hawke, I think, had a comment. I think during the pandemic, so he had a thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just making the rounds. But he talked about like when we're at our most joyous or our most lost, our most lonely, our most in love, we turn to art. Art is the thing that helps us feel those powerful emotions and feel connected to the rest of humanity when we're in those extremes.
And that's when art's not a luxury, it's actually sustenance. We need it.
And so, and to try and say, no, we're taking that away, we're gonna let a computer make that, is just, it is an incredible sucking of the joy out of life. It is so vampiric. And I mean, to some, like this is hyperbolic, but it also might be a good soundbite, that turning to AI to make art is really just editing the joy out of life.
Basically.
It is. It's and it's fascinating to me that there are people making that argument, and more fascinating that there are people making content and doing videos to support this and to say, well, this is the future.
Not on this channel. That shit.
Thank you. That's why I'm here. When I was watching that video, the thing that came to mind, and this is admittedly a like absolute misuse of the and like, paraphrasing of and trivializing of the intended meaning, but everyone I've heard claiming that this is the future, we just have to accept it, are all people whose jobs haven't been threatened by AI yet.
I know, right?
and I was like, the thing that came to mind was the First They Came poem.
Right.
That, famously from the Holocaust of, first they came for the for the gypsies, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a gypsy, and then they came for and then they came for me, and by that time there was no one left to stand up. And we're seeing, again, substantially different stakes here, but the same kind of mindset of, no, we're going to support AI. It's, it's better, it's easier, it's faster, it's cheaper, until it starts taking your job. And then you're going to go, where is everybody who let this happen? And the answer is, it was you.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I will get political about this because like Trump and Trump's regime, MAGA, they are Nazis. They are Nazi adjacent, and Nazis famously hated art. They hate art. What did Trump do as soon as he became president? One of the first things he did was he took over the Kennedy Center for the Arts. Like, we're gonna control the art now. We're gonna control the art, and then they also threatened to have content moderation for the movie studios and whatnot, like the old days, you know, when a married couple could not be filmed sleeping in the same bed, or to appear to have a bed that wasn't like twin beds, like old timey black and white TV shows. Married couples had to have like twin beds or what have you, separated by a nightstand or what have you. It's ridiculous.
And we all know how well that worked. And if you want a more recent example, Elon Musk bought Twitter to stop them saying mean things about him. And not only did that just fail spectacularly on Twitter, but it also just exposed how much of a shallow, like, arrogant blowhard he is.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
Which every time people have tried to control art, they have failed horribly, but they have, in many, many, many cases, done truly unconscionable things in the process.
Yeah.
And we should be fighting tooth and nail to avoid that.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many other things wrong with AI. Deepfakes, you know, propaganda, it has gotten out of control. Not even going to go into that right now, because I was trying to keep this one shorter. But, like, look, when people say that the genie is out of the bottle, there's no putting it back, that's absolute bullshit. Because ultimately, the power...
Those people didn't watch Aladdin all the way through.
Right. But what I'm going to say is that ultimately, the power is with the people. It is with your wallets, with the everyday person going to the theater, watching Netflix. They don't have a business if you unsubscribe. They don't have a business if you don't go to the theater, if you don't buy those tickets, if you don't support those studios that do these things. And guess what? Target fucked up massively, didn't they? And their bottom line was impacted by boycotts. Like, no one's gonna say that they weren't impacted, because they were. As political workers' rights movements like 5051 and Indivisible continue to gain ground, it's entirely possible that we'll see boycotts for movie studios like Netflix who use AI models like this. And I'm all for it. Yeah. Like, you want to test us? Yeah. Go right the fuck ahead. You fuck around and find out. That's all I'm saying.
And you're right. And here's a fun little extra bonus for that. The number of people it takes to make that impact is not that many.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes 5 or 6 people seemingly starting a movement on Twitter to start getting these companies to panic and have emergency meetings. It is the NRA, which, to be political for a second, which has done exponential damage to the country and has the blood on their hands for almost I think at least a decade of mass shootings at this point, has fewer members in it than Planet Fitness does. It doesn't take a lot of people to stand up and say, no, I'm drawing the line here. You don't get to kill the environment. You don't get to steal from artists. You don't get to fire artists or bypass them so that you can give a little extra money to your shareholders. It doesn't take a lot of us, and I think I don't think we'll have trouble finding people to do it, and you should be part of that.
Absolutely. Everyone watching this video, not saying that this video is going to get a ton of views, because the podcasts don't typically do as well as the single videos, but you never know. We're calling out John Campea, so like, overall, I love John's YouTube channel, but, like, come on, man, like, do better. Like, this sucks.
It does, and especially when you have the platform that you do, when you have the viewership that you do, the number of people in the entertainment industry, in the political sphere, who need to go back and watch the first Spider-Man movie again, and understand the responsibility that they have and the power that they have, like John and John's audience, you all make a difference, and what you hear makes a difference. You can do better than this, and we really, it would matter if you did.
Yeah. I'd say watch the first Terminator movie, maybe the second one too. Rewatch those.
Yeah, if you
Sarah Connor might be judging you a little harshly right now.
Yeah, as the carrot and the stick, we've got Uncle Ben saying, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
And then, as the punishment, we've got the "Hey, Terminator's where we're headed if we don't stand up and say no, we're not gonna let you put just inch your way to Armageddon this way."
But yeah, guys, terrible takes from John Campea and his buddy. I forget his name. I think his name's Rob. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Rob Burnett. I think.
Yeah, Rob Burnett. All right, cool. I think that's pretty much it. Like, bottom line is, art is for the masses, but it's made by humans with human points of view. One of my favorite things that I always bring up when someone asks, well, what do you write about in cyberpunk or whatever? I'd like to throw T.R. Napper's quote at them where he says they're stories about now. They're about us as human beings, where we're going, what's going on. That's why you're going to end up seeing a lot of interesting stuff come out of this era. So I asked my buddy who on Twitch went by Buttery Smooth for the longest time, and now he's going by his name. Let me see if I can pull it off. I believe pull it up. It's Sean Collins. Yeah, Sean Collins. And I was like, hey, you're going by your name? Like, I'm used to seeing Buttery. Like, all of his like emotes are all Buttery. He's like, yeah, man, humans the new black.
Yes.
Being human is the new black. Fuck yeah. Whether you're doing digital art, traditional art,
Yeah, getting to being that process of making all those choices and creating something that like touches your soul or touches the souls of people around you. That's I hate to say, it should never be a thing that we're like, that's the new commodity or the new black or the new hot thing, because it's just always been.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our human ability to create art has never been more in jeopardy, but also has never mattered more.
Yeah,
and has never been more powerful. Like,
absolutely.
If you're thinking about starting to create art, now is your moment. Get out there and share something.
Fucking do it, because before you know it, look, I've got a book coming out in September that could absolutely, if this regime gets their way, could land me in jail if they wanted to.
I'm getting a copy of this book, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be out in September, not next month, but the month after. I'm getting ahead of myself because it already feels like, the last 6 months have taken up like 60 years, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh God. All right, guys. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and cut it off there. But
hang on, let me throw
one
more thought at you here. If you find your inspiration and start creating and start making something, regardless of how it turns out, because let me tell you, odds are whatever you're starting out with, it's going to be bad, and that's that's okay. It is bad art has value. Bad art has whatever you make. You could make the worst possible thing, and it's still going to have more value and more relevance to the world than anything AI creates. But also make something. Make another thing, and see if you don't find yourself enjoying the process. See if you get to a point where you would just enjoy the process and rather keep making it yourself than taking shortcuts. And ethics aside, the easy way out is missing in some ways the best part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just the joy of creating a book. The editorial process is probably my favorite part. Like, drafting is fun too, sure, but getting to have that dialogue with my editor back and forth of what's working and what's not working leads ultimately to a much more satisfying piece of art. And it's not going to be for everyone. It shouldn't be for everyone. Like,
No.
none of my stories are for everyone, clearly. I love body horror. What can I say? But, you know, just keep making shit. No one's going to see my first novel that I wrote, the first one I ever wrote. It's garbage. Yeah. It's probably the worst thing. It's like Mass Effect fan fiction, basically.
I was like, no one close to me right now has seen my first movie, and they're not going to.
Right. Right. So you're not going to pull a James Rolfe and just put it up on your website?
Not the day after I win an Oscar, yes.
Okay.
And then I'll deal with the cease and desist letters. But and this is true for every, like, food tastes better when you've cooked it yourself. Hiking to the top of a mountain feels so much more triumphant than just, like, you know, driving up there or taking a ride of some kind. The problem is, like, that those feelings and that just elation and that those moments that really make you feel proud that you made something and that you accomplished something, those aren't super Instagrammable. Those don't translate well to social media, but there's no substitute for the real thing. And like, don't let people trick you with bad takes that AI and just that the destination matters more than the journey, whether it's creative or culinary or travel. Like, get out there, experience it, create it yourself. You're not going to be disappointed. And then you're going to turn around and go, why was I, what on the only way that they trick us into thinking AI is the future is if if they trick us into thinking that how we get here isn't as important or more important than where we get.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I was building up to that. That felt good. Yeah,
that felt good. You're working through something on that one.
We're all working through this together. Like,
yeah.
But
we're all in this together, Eric.
Yes, we are.
We are.
We really are. Yeah, that's just a fact.
You know, that's like the corporate slogan for everything. You know?
Yeah,
through the pandemic.
When someone who wants something from you tells you we're in this together or we're a family,
right? That's the tone they take.
Yes, exactly.
All right, guys.
No, but like, yeah.
All right, guys. Unless you want to go ahead and give some closing thoughts, tell people where they can find you. And then
I can do that. I can, yeah. So yes, check out my YouTube account is Checker Liar, at Checker Liar. You can find me there. You can find me on Instagram at Checker Liar and see the very sporadic posts. You can also go to erichackler.com and you'll get a bird's eye view of all the stuff that I've worked on. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me on any of those platforms and let's start a dialogue. Let's make something together. Let's do some art.
Hell yeah. And that YouTube channel, the Instagram and all that will be linked below in the description and the pinned comment whenever this episode comes out. Hopefully it's soon because this is like topical, right? All right.
Yes.
So
and hopefully it won't be topical for too much longer.
TLDR or TLDW, too long, didn't watch. John Campea's take on AI is absolute garbage. And dude, why? Come on, man. I like you. I like you a lot. I want to like you more.
You've got a platform. You've got people who care about the things you say. Use that to support artists and to support the process of making art.
Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to do all the things that keep the eldritch beast that is the YouTube algorithm going. Like liking the video, commenting, sharing this video with someone who enjoys storytelling discussion, or videos on controversial subjects like AI. And my name is Eric Malachite. My guest was Eric Hackler. And we'll see you next time, Space Cowboy.